Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 24th through the 30th. And during that time, we have a first quarter moon that comes in right on the 24th, and that can be a time of feeling impulsive, impatient. Your mind might be a little bit active, and it's kind of hard to just buckle down and get things done. So, you may want to just take it easy that day, or you may want to, use it as kind of a challenge day to learn how to control and dominate your impulses. So, whichever way you choose to do that, either way is fine, really. We then move into the waxing gibbous energy for the rest of the week. And that, of course, is a time for a deeper understanding and outlook. We're back to work, not really as distracted. And it is a good time for us to show that we can be flexible and make adjustments in those things that we are working on for the cycle. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Capricorn. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is to look at the bigger picture. Okay, let's see what the Capricorn Collective has going on for the week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder for you this week, Capricorn, is that you keep a spiritual journal. So sometimes we don't recognize the patterns that are happening in our life because we forget them and we forget to jot them down. So, having a designated spiritual journal or even a portion of your own journal that's just for those things, but that way you can keep track of dreams that you're having or synchronicities, maybe angel numbers that you're encountering, and just different things that you're learning. And it's just good to have to look back on later on in time. So that is my fun weekly reminder for you, Capricorn, is keep a spiritual journal. All right, let's get into this reading. Capricorn, May 24th through the 30th, look at the bigger picture. And your present energy right now, Capricorn, is the Nine of Cups. So something's going on where you feel, very self-satisfied about something. You're very pleased with yourself. Maybe just very, very pleased with how things are going in general. So that's a great feeling. Let's see what the reason for it. Your current situation is the Three of Swords. So that's interesting. So some sort of heartbreak, but you're kind of okay with it, So I know this card has a heart in it, but sometimes because it's air energy with the swords, I think it can also designate kind of a mental break where something maybe didn't go, kind of an intellectual disappointment. It didn't go the way you wanted to, but it seems like you're kind of okay with it, that you weren't either that set on it or you've already gotten over it and just figured out a new path, right? At the root of your situation here is the Queen of Wands. So this could be somewhere in the area of kind of passions and just kind of having an understanding. And, maybe the biggest understanding is that things like this do happen, and it could be, especially with Capricorns, you guys are very goal oriented. And I can see where, if you have a disappointment, it's not the end of the world for you. You're unlike some people who might, just kind of wallow in that for days and weeks. You're just like, okay, that didn't work, let's move on, right? That's just a very Capricorn way to handle that. So makes total sense to me. In your recent past here is the Ace of Pentacles. So this, again, yeah, this might be some new financial opportunity or something that you're working on, that things are coming out, you're feeling good about it, even though you've got this disappointment. And it's, again, I feel like it's just easier for you to get over it because you know that each thing you've learned the lesson, whatever it is, you're disappointed in it, but you move along and you find a new way to manage it and deal with it, which is very Capricorn of you. What is on your mind this week is the Star card. So, what's on your mind is knowing that the direction that you're going in, making sure that you're kind of on course. And again, if you're dealing with, if you're managing things like this, you may perfectly be on course. So, but it's on your mind to have that thought, to think, the star card is about, things that are written in the stars and things just kind of go easily. And when you have a bump in the road like this, like the Three of Swords, it might be that maybe that was a path that you don't want to head down, and you are going to adjust course and head to a different kind of direction. So you're just reading that very easily, and maybe more easily than others. getting over it, making the right adjustments. Like I said, that's the energy of the waxing gibbous, is to make adjustments on things you're working on and then move forward. So it looks like you're perfectly in line with the moon energy this week. What is just ahead of you this week is the Chariot. So you are gathering information to make some sort of big move on something. It might not be something that you're doing yet, but you're definitely in that information gathering phase. And maybe that was just information that came in that's not going to work out for you. What is in your advice position here is the Five of Pentacles. So, the advice is to maybe look around you. I call this the comparison card. This is kind of feeling like an outsider. And sometimes I feel like in today's world, that's about, sometimes you might compare yourself to others, and then that's never a good idea because it does make you feel like an outsider. It's the comparison is the thief of joy, right? So, but because this is in your advice position, I feel like it means to maybe examine that a little bit more. Are you comparing yourself somewhere, and are you feeling like an outsider? And just take the time to really, really examine that, because that might put you back onto the course that it's almost part of what this Chariot is doing, is gathering that information for something that you're working on right now. That'll make sense to some of you Capricorns out there. You're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Is don't, try to ask yourself, why do you compare? Why is this kind of keeping up with the Joneses, or keeping, why do you feel the need to do that? When your success is about your personal success, you shouldn't be, comparing to others, really. So that's a big question for you to ask yourself this week, because it's in your advice position there. What is beyond your control is the Hierophant. So, of course, you're going to ask those questions and seek some guidance. And maybe that's why you're at a tarot reading. You might already be asking, like, why am I, this thing didn't work out. I'm getting ready to do this big project, got this thing going on. And why am I comparing myself to others? It's not, there's no competition here. So, again, so seeking out guidance is beyond your control. It might be that you've stumbled upon this tarot reading and it's kind of ringing true for you. It could be that you're going to seek out other guidance, or maybe read books or watch lectures about this kind of thing. About, this is about ego. This is, you're feeling self-satisfied here. And why would you compare yourself to others when it seems like you're very happy doing the things that you do on your own? And so sometimes that's something I think we all face, is to just be comfortable in our own skin and where we are in the moment, right? All right. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is the Knight of Swords, which is, either very rapid thoughts coming in, or information coming in. So, is it your secret desire to maybe get something to come in and replace this? Or are you kind of like, no, I have some other things. I want to avoid new information coming in so I can work out all of these other things that I'm going through right now. And it seems like bigger picture things that you're dealing with besides the actual um, thing that you're working on. And almost like my example for that would be like, this is some sort of project at work that's going on for you and keeping you busy, but it's bringing up like these personal questions, like, why am I like this? Why did I compare myself to the guy in the office next to me? Why am I comparing myself to the woman down the hall, or the one I just met in this meeting? So, um is it your secret desire to have some information or thoughts that come in to kind of fix this? Or are you just kind of in that questioning mode where you're gathering information again, like this, the Chariot's like the gatherer of things. So, before you make a move. So that'll be a big question for you, is do you want those thoughts and ideas to come in or not right now? In your outcome position here is the Tower. So, you know, things aren't going, you want things to go in a certain direction. It's almost like you're forcing it to go there, and it's just not where you're supposed to be right now. And are you doing it for the right reasons? Again, you look like you're pretty happy here, but you're making some sort of comparison. And I mean, I almost think it's like, I'll use a work example. Like, you're going after some position or title that, is maybe bigger and has more money, but do you really need more? Do you really need that? And do you need the work that comes with it? And do you, and you're starting to ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? And maybe you don't end up getting it. And because there's just some personal things that you need to work on, and maybe you're happy where you're at. Like, why do you want to keep striving? I know Capricorns are very goal oriented and very, unforgiving in these types of situations. It's just how you guys are built. But sometimes is that a big distraction, like just adding more work, adding more things to your plate? So you need to ask yourself, who are you actually in competition with? So what is hidden from you here, Capricorn, is the Three of Cups. So what's hidden from you? And also, let me just say, look up angel number 33 while I've got them here handy. What's hidden from you is really just kind of enjoying yourself. And so, you're doing all this work and trying to head in this other direction. Things aren't really working out for you, when maybe all you should be doing is just kind of enjoying the fruits of your labor, and kind of dealing with where you are right now. But do ask yourself, what is this need to do more? Like, who are you in competition with? That's a good question for you to ask yourself this week, Capricorn. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message from the Soul Oracle deck for Capricorn is to forgive and forget. So maybe that's something here that's going on right there. And even with this Tower that comes into play, is to forgive and forget. It could be, like I said, I'll use the example again. If you didn't get that promotion, maybe it just wasn't time. It wasn't the time right now. You're trying to push some direction that maybe it's not even time for you to do. It's not really working out because you have some other personal work to do, or to figure out what is it that you actually want, instead of just striving and going and pedal to the metal constantly, just more, more, more. And why? I think it's time to stop and ask yourself those questions. So, all right, Capricorn, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Capricorn this week as they go through whatever this is. And the card that you get is the card called Needs. And I love the clock. I love that there's a pool there. Do you need more time to yourself? A break from thinking too much? A kind encounter with a friend? Interesting. Your needs matter, and it's time to honor them. So, do you need those things? I mean, wow, after this reading, for this card to come out, I've never even seen this card. Do you need more time to yourself? A break from thinking too much? All of these things that we just discussed, like, what is it that's driving you to strive in the way that you're doing when it appears to me that you're already happy? So, sometimes it's time to just take a beat, and it is get with some friends, hang out, have a good time. Take some time to yourself, a break from working and thinking too much. Forgive and forget on like I said, the example of not getting that promotion. Forgive and forget with that boss. Whoever your higher up is, shake the hand and say thank you for telling me no, because maybe I don't need that right now in my life. Anyway, do that examination, Capricorn. It seems like some of you need to do that this week. So thank you so much for being here. I hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment and let me know if anything here resonated, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you as well. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe really helps my channel, and I appreciate that so, so much, Capricorn. So thank you so much for being here. Good luck with all of this, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.